Let me first tell you a story. Pay attention and visualize it. Two men are racing down a river, John and Marcus. Let's go through John's situation first. John is racing down the river, currents are rapid, pulling him down, and he sees a boulder ahead. Now he has two options once he sees that boulder. He could either swim aggressively, get tired, and be fatigued in the future, swimming out of the way of the boulder, or he could smack against it and roll around it and then save his energy for the future. John decides, why not save my energy for the future? The end of the race is where I'd catch up. He smacks against the boulder. Smack! Another one comes. Smack! Another one comes. Smack! The 5 minutes are up. John is cut and swollen, has a broken rib, but he conserved his energy, so he's not out of breath. Now, Marcus has a different approach. He's floating down the river, it's pulling him down, and he sees a boulder. Once again. Now, instead of smacking against the boulder, he decides to aggressively, immediately swim out of the way and put all his energy immediately from the start. He decides he'd worry about the future when the future comes. Boulders keep coming, and he keeps taking the same approach. He's exhausted, super fatigued, so every once in a while, he can't swim aggressively enough and bumps his shoulder on the rock. The 5 minutes are up, and Marcus got twice as far as John. He has a few scrapes across his body, he's panting for breath, trying to catch his breath, and he gets out of the water. By the time he's out, he feels fine. Now, John has a different story. He gets out, and he knows he's going to be in pain for weeks from his broken rib, all his scrapes, all his cuts from smacking against those rocks. But the thing is, not only did John get beat up from those rocks, but he also made it half the distance. Marcus made it twice as far. Most people hear this story and think it's obvious to move out of the way like Marcus did. But those same people are living like John. The version of you in the future that you want to be is not doing what you are doing right now. You wonder why you keep falling into these bad habits when you know it'll make your life harder in the future. Scrolling, sugar, drinking, jerking off. You may notice if you do one of these things, you are likely doing all four. But some people seem immune to them. They seem like this stuff just doesn't apply to them, like it doesn't exist. And that's because they don't see these as the diseases. They're not trying to cure these things. They're trying to cure the overall disease. These are the symptoms to the disease. It gives them an entire new brain. These people curing the disease is what's reshaped their brain into a way that gets them to the top 1% and makes them hyper successful. So you may be asking, what is the cure? Now stick with me. It's not as basic as it's going to seem. Becoming busy with delayed gratification is the cure. We all have heard of delayed gratification. We have all heard of individual tasks. You do this one thing, that's delayed gratification. You do this other thing, and then you go do something else to have a bit of fun. Now, this is the exact issue, and this is where they get people. Most people want to do delayed gratification because they want to be successful, but then they also hear from some people, oh, it's fine to not always be doing delayed gratification, everything in moderation. Yet none of the successful people are doing this stuff in moderation. You do not want moderation. You want to take this to the extreme and try to fill every moment of your life with these delayed gratification tasks. All of you with the brain of John are probably thinking, well then, when do I have fun? When is it all worth it? Well, if I'm not having fun, then why am I doing it in the first place? Well, you need to understand, at first, it's not going to be fun. It's going to suck. There's going to be no benefits at first. But after a little while, and we have to look at the grand scheme of things, a little while could be anywhere from 3 months to 2 years. It could be that's still a small period of time compared to what you are giving up if you don't do this. But after a little while, you'll see this crash down in the form of success. And what you realize then is that you really don't care about being happy like you thought. That's something that's been put into your brain as a poison. What you'll realize then is that you care about being proud of what you are doing and what you have done, and that will have being happy as a side effect. You could think of happiness as a symptom. Happiness is a symptom and a side effect of when you are proud. It is, you do not get happiness when you are not proud. It's just a measurement of how proud and how much good you have done in your life. And once you think about this, if you sit here for a minute and really dig deep about this, you're going to realize how silly it is, the fact that you've been chasing happiness. You're chasing the symptom, not the disease. Now that you feel proud and now that you're actually seeing success, this is all you're going to be doing. This is all you're going to be chasing. You're going to chase fulfilling your purpose and being proud. You didn't have to start with a purpose. You created a purpose. The purpose is so broad that it could apply infinitely and it never ends. If your purpose is to be proud, you could do unlimited things. In addition, there's never an ending to what you could be more proud of. You could always retire your mother. You can always feed starving kids. There are so many things to do once you infect your brain with the idea of being proud. Look at the views on this video right now. 90% of those views are gonna stay the same as John if they don't do what I am about to tell them. 10% of you will do what I'm going to tell you and will take it seriously because you know you need change and you know you've likely been living like John, and those 10% are going to succeed. So here's a quick task you can take to go ahead and implement this. Write on a piece of paper every hour of your day tomorrow. 0 gaps. When you eat, when you sleep, when you work out, when you do deep work, when you take a cold shower, every single thing of the day tomorrow. You don't have a single moment of entertainment in this one day. And now I want you to go ahead and perform this day. If you don't have the ability to control your own mind for a single day, how do you expect to succeed? You just need to prove to yourself one day that you can do it. Now, once you perform this day and you have every moment written out of the day, and don't make these tasks easy. Make it hard. Don't make it simple, easy shit. So basically, you'll want to stray off of this schedule multiple times tomorrow. You'll say, this is stupid. Your brain is making excuses and whatever. But I want you to pledge to yourself right now that you are going to skip to it or stick to it. And when you stick to it tomorrow, when you are performing these tasks and your brain starts straying, I need to do this, I need to do this. Remember, yesterday you considered this day completely. You don't need to do anything. You need to stick to this schedule. You need to learn to trust your own brain. And let me tell you, nobody is doing the hard shit. That's what makes the reward 10 times greater. The rewards are hidden where people don't look. Now, when you lay down for bed, you're gonna realize one thing. And that one thing is that doing harder shit constantly is the one way to guarantee success, guarantee improvement, guarantee to be better every day. Make every day harder than the last. Your body adapts. Your body is amazing. Trust in it. Now lay down. Think of this for 365 days. Where could you possibly be? Think of how exponential your life would be if you could just make this your life. Not to have moderation, but make this your actual life. On to my next point. John and Marcus decide to race again, but John has a plan. They said how far you run, not what direction you run. The counter goes 3, 2, 1. Marcus sprints off. John turns around, sprints against the current. John fights against the current, keeps running against it, and he's making progress, but every once in a while the current pulls him backwards and he doesn't make much progress. End of the race, John got smoked again, but hey, at least he didn't get hit by any boulders. Now, most of you aren't running against the current. Most of you know that's stupid. But most of you also aren't thinking of how you could run with the current. Life naturally rewards the good and punishes the evil. I'll give you a second to either think or write down every single good thing you did this week. Not every good thing you are doing, every good thing you did this week, and not in the future either. How did you make society better? My issue with dropshipping and stuff like that is it no longer provides benefit. The reason it was so successful for the first people was because they were providing a benefit. What they were doing was introducing these products into new markets where they weren't seen. Now, every market is swarmed with dropshippers. Everybody's trying to get a piece. None of them are actually providing any value. It makes them way less exponential. They may get some sell, but they're never going to truly grow. We want to implement the idea of a productocracy. This means we are giving off value. We radiate value. We give more value to people than we are asking. We might not even want value. We may just give out value to everybody for free, take nothing back from them. That is the optimal situation. That is what you should aim for. Give as much value to other people as possible. And this forces whatever you are doing to grow. If you stay focused and combine the idea of a productocracy, you have a very potent weapon. So if you want to make a decision in your life, the best way to do that is to look at the top people in that category and look at what they are actually providing value in and how they are providing value. Think, could you provide value in that way? If you can, good, great, sprint full speed at it. But if you find yourself unable to provide value and you can provide value in many areas, you need to discover yourself. This is best done through journaling. Let me give you your first journaling task. You're going to grab a piece of paper and you're going to make a tree. In this tree, you're going to start off by writing down 10 things you want. Now, you need to put those 10 things into 3 categories of life. 3 categories that you want in your life that covers all 10 of those things. And then once you see these 10 categories, now you need to narrow these 3 things down under one concept. You need to dig really deep for this. You may say time and debate yourself. If you say time, start thinking, well, time is infinite. Is 50 years any different from 100 years when you compare it to infinity? And you're going to keep thinking all these things in your head. And it's going to make you take time on this. It's going to make you really debate and have to see what you genuinely want in life and what you are genuinely working towards. And now you are onto the hard part once you've found that one task. Now you need to rebuild up. You need to expand the tree until you reach the point you're in life. And now you need to go through these topics one by one by one, starting from where you are at until you get to this point. You just built a guideline to life, a guideline that you won't stray from. You have this guideline forever, and no other people could corrupt your brain into thinking anything else is important to you. I'm not saying that time is a bad decision to compress this all into, but I am saying to really debate yourself on whatever you do decide. I'm not going to give you any answers. And to show your brain that you are serious about this, lock yourself without any distractions. Your phone in another room, and you're in a room with no distractions. And spend a few days on this. Maybe go into the room 30 minutes for 3 days straight, and each 30 minutes, you may start thinking different things. It's powerful to give yourself time. We've been through curing your brain, and we've been through the flow of good to create success and good things in your life. These two things will drastically improve your life, but there is a third thing that you don't want to miss. So I'm going to get back to the story of John and Marcus. John decides to call in the Master Racer. The Master Racer always wins these races. He's super successful. He's been where John has been at, and he's going step by step by step to get to the point he's at. Now, John asks the Master Racer for advice, and he tells him about a path. There's a path through the fast current that if he takes, he won't hit any boulders because there are no boulders in this path. John thinks it's genius. He thinks he finally has a chance. He runs to his friends, tells them about it. You know what they say to John? They say, John, you've never taken that path. You don't know if there are boulders in that path. You don't know if you will succeed or if you're going to keep smacking into boulders if you take that path. John thinks about it for a second, gets a little sad that his hope is lost, and he decides, yeah, I'm just going to keep running against the current, smacking myself backwards, keep losing. I don't need to win. My friends say I don't need to win. It's fine to be average, whatever. They tell John he's being a good boy, but in reality, all he's doing is staying at the same spot and not improving in anything. No matter what stage you're at, you're gonna encounter John's issues. Out of human nature, it is natural for people to give advice to get you where they got. They can't see ahead though. If you could see ahead and knew what it took to get you ahead, you would be ahead of where you are at. It's simple as that. It may be because you don't want to do some hard thing, but then you don't know how to cure that idea of not wanting to do the hard thing. So they really don't know how to push you ahead of the place they are at. Average people, if you get average advice from average people, how could you expect to be anything but average? Now, you may understand this idea, but that's not all. Think about going to the gym. There's some big jacked guy tells you, hey, if you want to get big, bench 315. But the thing is, he doesn't tell you the guide to getting to 315. He's been there so long that he doesn't even remember what took you through the stages leading up to 315. What we need to do is look at the person who's just ahead of us, who just was in our situation, take their advice, and they're the person we want to get advice from. Because you may remember the times where you succeed, you had some big moment in your life, and you know immediately after, you're thinking of whatever you got, whatever you did to get there. You know exactly what it took. So why not fish out this person's complete situation, listen to everything they have, and guarantee the idea of moving on towards their spot. You may say, well, nobody actually knows my situation, and you're right. That's why all the great thinkers, great emperors, they all had individual tutors. But most of us can't afford that. It's not as simple as that. So find someone who posts content or posts free stuff where you can easily consume this stuff for free. So find somebody who posts free content that is just ahead of you, and you could sort of assume that if you take their advice, it's gonna lead you towards their shoes. Now, there are so many people posting content online. Listen to the person who resonates with you most and is closest to you, and that's the person you want to copy. The great thing about this is that progress isn't linear. So you may jump past the person you're taking advice from. Well, now that person is going to look at you, see how you got past them. They're going to jump past you, and it's going to rebound off each other. It's not, oh, I used this person to pass them, and now, later, loser. It's now they get to use you to pass you, and it's almost like a competition. It's a masculine competition, which is exactly what we need more of. I hope this helped, boys. I got 3 videos coming. I got my second part to entrepreneurship. I got my full money guide, and I got my full educational guide, so you could abuse the education system to actually make you improve. So if you are interested in any of those, Let me know which one you want to see first. I am also starting an email list where I will send one email a week with a task that you can use to follow this week, so you will always be improving because you will always have something to improve at. Good luck, boys. I hope you found this helpful. Have a good one.